Okay, looks like we're definitely broadcasting now. So first off, welcome to the course. Hi, my name's Joel. I'm here to lead you through the course. I hope you guys feel that you can always ask me questions if you have any. Feel free to send a phone call or send an email, make a phone call, send a text message. I don't like to deal with lengthy conversations over text, but if you've got something quick, like I need a homework extended and it's the day it's due, or I need an exam extension, just ask and you shall receive, as a generality. If you're always asking for extensions, I might start asking for some verification of what's going on, or we'll have a little talk. But you'll know if there's a problem. What I really want to do today is just run through Sapling. If you're watching this, then you're already on Sapling and you know what's happening there. So I really want to just point some things out and then make some comments as we go through about it. So I'm going to switch over to screen share at this point. And we're going to share the entire screen. Good. There's our infinite screen pattern. Awesome. So we'll go over here and let's go to Sapling. Now this is Sapling, how it looks for all of you. And let me switch back over, make sure it's doing what it should. I've been known in the past to do something wrong. Okay. So cool. Looks like we're on the right page. Make sure. And what I'm doing now is I'm just going to go and watch it live from my phone and make sure that you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. Last thing we want to have happen is for me to ramble on for half an hour without you guys seeing the same getup that I see. So anyway, this is the Sapling site you guys are familiar with. What I want to present first is you can scroll down the screen. I know this sounds stupid, but well, it seems stupid to me. But you know, apparently sometimes students don't realize that there's anything beneath this screen right here, and they never take the time, or they never realize they can actually scroll down and find more material. I think the easiest way to view this course, unless you have something particular you're looking for, is to actually go through and scroll down the screen and start at the top and go to bottom. So what I like on this is the beginning is all just similar. So the syllabus, all of you should have and have printed. You could have gotten it either from, where could you have gone? Let's see. You could have either gone to Etudes, or you could have gotten it here, where you have it right now. So we won't open that up or go through it or do anything, but it is what it is. It's there. Then we have office hours link. So if you click on the office hours link, it's pretty straightforward. So the office hours link is your place to just ask questions. You can add a new discussion topic. This is where many of you came to put your introductions. As you can see here, only 13 people replied to my introduction thread. You know, not necessarily too good, guys. We want a few more people being involved in the course, although this isn't really essential. It's just something for me to have you do the first few days to make sure we're getting something done. You can see some people had some questions about exams. I replied yesterday that my email had covered it. So if we go back, we can see at the top, and this tells us everywhere we are. So we're in Sapling Learning for your class, Macroeconomics Online. And we're in the forums, and the forum is office hours. So you could either go back to the forums, and then what you see here is all of the things that have been assigned so far. So you've got the general forums, office hours, and news. News is just all of the announcements that I email out throughout the semester. And then the learning forums, that's where you do your reading assignments. So we have Reader 1A and 1B. They're already past due. Not a big deal if you didn't get to them yet. You should work on those, though. I think when I checked yesterday, it looked like quite a few of you, 24 people had done reader replies. So we still have about 20, 30 more people to go. Depends how many end up being in this class. But you can see every week, approximately, you're going to have a reader article due. In total, there's 10 reader articles, and we've got 9 weeks in the course. So it's a little bit more than one some weeks. But on average, if you pace yourself, you could get them done one per week. So you could do this one, reader number 2, for the 3rd, and then do the 3rd for the 4th. These deadlines are just to keep you paced. If you wait until the very end to submit all of them, you'll likely not get a good grade just because you half-assed your work. But My preference is for you to keep some pacing. We do try to get those graded as they go. The way the readers get graded is I have a grader named Kelvin who comes in, and he's going to do the first go through and read of these reader assignments. And what he's reading for, he only has 3 options I want to point out. He can give you a 0, a 50, or a 100 score. If Kelvin gives you a 0, it doesn't mean you failed. It just means there were significant problems in your reader assignment. More often than not, if Kelvin gives you a 0, sometimes it is a 0, but most of the time when I go through and read them at the end of the semester, because all of your reader articles will be read at least twice, if not more, between Kelvin and myself. When I go through at the end of the semester and read all of the reader assignments at once and make sure Kelvin didn't miss anything and then adjust grades, more often than not, what happens is a 0 reader score from Kelvin. If you don't go on and address his concerns, and he'll tell you his concerns, he'll say, oh, you need to expand this point, you didn't answer this part of the question, you didn't do X, Y, Z. What Kelvin's going to do is Kelvin will give you a 0 because maybe there were 3 questions and you only addressed one of them and you didn't really add anything extra to cover for the fact that you missed one of the reader assignment questions. What he will do is he'll go through and he'll say, you need to respond to this. Let's say you never get around to it, you don't correct your mistakes. When I go through and grade it, more often than not, 0s turn into 60s to 75s. It depends on the quality of the work. If you only wrote 2 sentences, it'll probably stay at a 50 or even lower. If he gives you a 50, it means it actually was a pretty good article. It was probably a C article or a C reader assignment write-up that you did. But if you don't come in and reread it and read his comments and make corrections, then when I go through and do the reread, those 50s tend to become 70, anywhere between 70s and 85, sometimes 90s even, but more often than not anywhere between a 70 and an 85. If Kelvin gives you a 100, it means there really was nothing wrong with your reader assignment. There's nothing he would like you to add, and there's nothing I want you to add, and those will stay at 100. So what we're really looking for is Kelvin does the first read. What he would like you to do is when you respond to a reader article, he'd like you to go through the questions and say question A and then write your answer. Question B, write your answer. Question C, write your answer. These responses should be in paragraph form. They shouldn't be, sometimes they can be a simple sentence, but they shouldn't be one-word responses. So this article is a book review. What's the book being written? Who is the author in brief? What does the book's author say economists do? That should take you about a paragraph to answer. You can figure you don't need to respond with 2-3 page papers for each of these. What you really need is normally anywhere between half and 1.5 pages of response. But he'd like you, just to make it easier to grade, to label your responses. In this section A, I'm responding to this. In B, in this section of my paper, I'm responding to question B. The questions are a minimum. You can expand in your answers. If you find something else you want to talk about not in the questions, feel free to do that. But just, I'm fine with that. Kelvin might grade you down for it. If you think that it was an unfair grade down because you went on something else you were interested in, send me a separate email and let me know. Say, hey, I think Kelvin was being too strict on this grade, and I'll go back through and read it, and I'll give you my own personal comments at that time. So let's say that you have answered the questions. Kelvin came back and said, okay, your problem, you didn't answer B or you didn't answer A well. You didn't even find the correct book that they're reviewing. So you go back through. What he wants you to do is to say edit reply. He wants you to edit your reply and make the changes. And then he will see that you've edited your reply, and he will be able to make the grade adjustment upwards. So, well, I'll let him go through that. I think it's either edit reply or he wants you to reply to his reply, but we'll let him clarify that in writing. It doesn't seem to be a problem thus far, just trying to help him out a little. So that's your reader assignment. So if we go back to the first page, so we have the office hours link. That's where we started from, and then we got into the little thing going through the reader assignments. We have the office hour videos. The video for this will be posted under here after today's class. We didn't do that one last week. I would have liked to have done this one last week, but I had some things come up work related that required that I wasn't able to do this last week. So if we scroll on down, there's technical support. If you ever have a problem with the class, what I want you to do is email technical support, but then CC me on the email. Let me include me on that email so that I know you're having problems. Don't just contact tech support. That way I can also follow up with them. And if we scroll down further, there's some practice assignments, and you can see this one. It's just using the tool Sapling Learning. If we look at it, most of you have done it. About the same number have done the reader responses. And we can see, you know, I worked on it a little bit with a student yesterday to show them how to do the homework in general, and I've got a 0.8 out of 10 so far, so I answered one question. And then every now and then, unfortunately, you'll see how this says office hour videos and office hours videos here. That link shouldn't be there, but unfortunately, the website, you know, some of you have already figured this out, the website isn't perfect, and it creates duplicate links because of a problem in the coding of the site. There's nothing I can do about that. We'll have to live with it, but it shouldn't cause problems because it just gives you more places to go to access that information, even if it's not in the right place. So if you scroll down next, you'll find that every topic that we're doing, and there's 5 or 6 topics in the macroeconomics course. I'm blanking off the top of my head real quick. First thing I put is roughly the days that we'll be covering this. So the first topic we covered from 10:20 to 10:29, so 3 to 2 days ago. It covers this material from the Macroeconomics as a Second Language book. It covers this material from the PDF book that's free, that's in your syllabus. It's Principles of Economics. It's a free textbook. The way to treat the textbooks is your small book is your reference manual. But let's say that you read that and you're still fuzzy. You're like, I really don't understand how to shift a PPF curve or, you know, move a production curve. Then what you're going to want to do is go to the big book, the Principles of Economics book. This book is 800 pages. And in that book, you'll get a lot more information and detail on things. Next, it just tells you the order of what's happening. This is fairly repetitive, doesn't tend to change. Then it tells you the due dates for this set of reader assignments. Next, we always have study materials, so I put in external video links. I don't do this every week, but the first week, what I want you to do, and I say it right here, is use these authors of these links to help you study. Now you've got the links, so what you can do is you can follow through to the YouTube link. And the important thing isn't to watch the video necessarily right now. It's that you can click on the author's name, and then you can go through and look at all the videos that this author does on macroeconomics. And so you can see there's a whole bunch of macro videos. And so if you have a particular topic you're stuck on, you can use the videos from MJM Foodie. Let's say you're not into this kind of cartoonish thing. This isn't my favorite, but some of my students have liked this person. You could go down, and this is Jody Marvel with Economists Do It With Models. What Jody's really good with, I'll be honest, she's I like her videos a lot, but she's a little dry sometimes, which is fine. But what she's great for is she has really good numerical examples a lot of times. In fact, I think her numerical examples are better than most of the other examples that we tend to get from other websites. So I like her numerical examples a lot. Once again, you can go to your YouTube link. You can click on her name, and you can find all of her videos under her video playlist, right? So you can go to videos and find it. You could also go to her website, and then you could follow it from her website as well. What I'm trying to do this first week, though, really is to give you resources to find people that can help you to understand the material better. Plus, you also have, and we'll get to it in a second, the videos that I emailed you yesterday that I've done in the past on this subject. And as a generality, things get hectic. I try to do videos in a timely fashion on certain key topics, but sometimes life gets in the way and gets ahead of me being able to put it up. The other side is if you watch my videos like you're watching this one, I have a camcorder, a webcam on my computer, and I have no good microphones. So the videos aren't the highest production quality. For better or worse, Delta hasn't seen fit to give me high quality video production equipment or to even give me someone to film my classes. So I end up having to film things on my own. which creates a little bit of a disadvantage. Most of these people, Khan Academy is another one. Most of these people have production teams and they're making money off of this, and so they definitely have the time and the energy and the effort to get a lot more out of it. So find whose videos you like and use those videos, right? That's the best way to do this. So if we go back, we've got the PPF PowerPoint. Most of the topic areas, I put up some PowerPoints. I don't use PowerPoints when I teach in class as a generality. So these PowerPoints are just here in case they help some of you. It always blows my mind. This semester already, I had someone come to me and say, oh, I really like the PowerPoints on the website. They helped a lot. I didn't think they'd be that helpful, but they are for some people. Then in many chapters, many topic areas, there's some worksheets and materials. I have 3 worksheets here for you to work on. You can download these, open them up, and work on these. If you finish these, you can email me and say I'm done with them, and I'll send you an email, one of 2 emails. One is I'll send you the answer key. Sometimes I'll, instead of sending you an answer key, say, hey, can you, sorry, can you take a picture and email that picture to me? And I will look at it and tell you whether you did right or wrong. It really depends on my mood, and it depends on the topic. Some topics I want you to work on it till you get it right. Other worksheets, I just, if you've tried it, I feel fine giving it to you. So everything in the study materials section is to help you study. I will tell you, one of my pet peeves in life with students is when someone emails me and goes, I read everything in the book and I took the exam and thought I was ready and I bombed the exam. What could I have done to make it different? And I go through my emails and I say, well, did you ever do the production possibility frontier worksheets? And the student tells me no. And I know they didn't because they didn't email or text me to let me know they had done them. Well, did you really do everything then if you didn't do that, right? And so it is what it is, but my preference is that you would use all of the materials you have available given the time constraints you have. Next up are the problem sets. This is really why we're using Sapling Learning, is the way that they do homework. Some of you will despise the way they do homework. It's, it is what it is. It's not the most helpful system. A lot of doing the problem sets is really about problem solving and the ability to go in and solve problems and to find answers for yourself. I'll open up this first problem set, and I think it was problem 12 a lot of people had problems with, so we'll see whether I can actually get it right. But while I'm loading this, what I want you to point out first off is some of you might have poor internet connections, or you have a lot of spyware or malware on your computers, and your computer gets bogged down, and you're going to notice that when you go to do this. And see, you'll get a little error thing, right? Or it won't load properly, or you're trying to switch from the first question second, and it will just have those little arrows spinning for hours on end. What you can do is, if that happens and it doesn't load right away, you can hit refresh. The page should load normally in a matter of minutes, and so, or minutes, in seconds. So if it doesn't load in 15, 20 seconds and you're trying to get next question, just hit refresh, and more often than not, you can get to the next question at that time period. So anyway, this looks like a problem that might have been hard for some people. So let's see. So this economy has 2 types of products, food and non-food. With each worker producing 5 products per class period, there are 50 workers in the class. How many food products could be produced in one class period if everyone worked for a food company? So let's see, we've got 50 workers, and each one does 5 products, so that would be what, 250 if they were all doing food? And so what I like to do when I do the homework is, the homework's low risk. It's meant for you to study with. It's 15% of your final grade, which means it's weighty enough you have to do it if you want to be successful in the course, but it's not so excessively a large part of your grade that if you screw up a little bit, it will hurt your final grade. And so I like to check the answer and I say, oh yeah, I got part of it right. Because you can do the homework as many times as you want, right? And so what I like to do is make sure that I'm doing, that I get it right as I go. So it goes, how many non-food products could produce if everyone worked for a non-food company? And if I read the problem right, everyone can do the same amount. So we check our answer and we say, ah, yeah, we're right again, right? I like this. Okay. So now it says move the PPF line to indicate the production possibilities for a class with 50 workers. And so what we want to do here is to move our ppf to 250 and to 250. And let's see if this is right. And my guess is it's still wrong because it's going to ask us to do something with A and B here. So it's not going to label the graph right, but I'm pretty positive. Oh, wait, can you see where I went wrong? I'm a moron. So we do 250, let's see. And now I think we are right, but is what it is. Okay, so every worker must eat 3 food products to be able to work the next class. They produce 0 products otherwise. How many food products are needed for all 50 workers to eat? So if every worker has to have 3 food products, and there's 50 workers, then we need, I think that's 3 times 50, so 150. Let's check that answer. Hey, looks like we're right. Okay. Okay, so move point A to the point on the ppf where every worker has enough to eat and all the other production is non-food products. So A has to be 150 food, and everything else is doing other things. So let's see if we're right here. And we're not going to get a lot of clarity because the graph's not complete yet. So let's see. Move point B to the point on the ppf where 100 food products are produced and 150 non-food products. Okay. Cool. See, now we've got everything on the graph, so the graph's correct. And by the way, I'm doing this one because when I looked at the sheet, it looked like everyone had, not everyone, but most of people in the class had a hard time with this problem. Maybe it's because you're like me and you were doing every question one at a time. Look, I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attempts right now, right? 7 attempts. But, maybe it isn't. So what will happen to the class economy if it produces at B? Specifically, how many products will be produced in the next class? So if we're at point B, then what that's saying is that, well, we needed to be here for everyone to have 3, so everyone can't produce again. So we only have enough for 100, so 33 people to produce the next period. And so if 33 people can produce the next period, then we need to calculate that out. And I'm not sure I want to do that on top of my head. Let's see where I can do it on paper. Let's see. Oh, one of the things that many of you will be frustrated with, you hit hints, and it goes that if workers always produce 5 products per class, regardless of what they're producing, what will ppf look like? How much does a worker produce if they have enough food? How much do they produce otherwise? So we know only 33 workers are going to be producing next class period. So that means we can only have 33 times 5, 165 if math in my head's correct. I might be wrong on this one, guys. Oh my God, no, I'm not. Yay for good mental math skills. Okay, so all I did for that one is I said, look, if we're right here, then that means we only produced enough food. We only produced 100 food products, and each person needs 3 products. So 3 goes into 100, 33.3 times. Well, we can't have a third of a person working, so 33 people get to work. If 33 people are working times 5 products, then we end up with 165 products. So anyway, this is the homework. And the homework, as I said, it's meant to study by. And the homework is meant to challenge you and give you problem-solving abilities. If there's one thing an econ class is going to help with, it's helping you learn how to solve problems independently and really deal with real-world issues in some cases, and to learn how to mesh theory with reality to a little bit. So if we look at these problems, then the way to view them is you should be attempting them. Now look, I did 1 per 1, that's 8 problems, or 8 attempts. If you're attempting a problem 20 times, you're probably not getting it, and that's when you should be asking a question in the office hours forum, so that I or another student can come on and help you answer the question and figure it out. Or you should be going ahead and sending me an email or a phone call to say, hey, I'm not getting these questions, can you help me with them? You can always put down and say, this is my name, this is the problem I'm working on, because all of you have different problem numbers. And I can look up what problem you were working on, and I can do that during an office hour video. So under no circumstances should you spend 20 or 30 attempts on a problem for most problems unless you really feel like you're making progress. Now, right now, I'm trying to find an example of a type of problem many of you will come to hate. And what you've probably already figured out is some of the types of problems that Sapling asks. So a problem like this, let's just make up some answers. It's either all or nothing. They don't give you partial credit on some of these. I'm not sure on this problem what they do, so let's see. So on this one, see, it says they're all wrong. It gives me 0 points. And it doesn't tell me which one is right or wrong. This is a little bit of a pain in the ass, but we realize it happens. So you can try again. What I recommend doing is to actually try again and to start with nothing in any of them. And what you do is you say a tax on tires increases the price of tires paid by car owners. Macroeconomics. Now, hopefully you guys are saying that answer is wrong. But we check answer and it goes incorrect. What field of study deals with supply and demand, equilibrium price, and marketplace for one specific product? What's going to happen is the program goes down the list and it's going to find out what you got wrong. And the first thing you got wrong in the list, it's very linear. It's going to give you a hint related to that one. So you should know that's related to that problem. So you go here and you go, okay, check answer. Now, if it gave you the exact same response, then it's likely that your new answer was wrong as well, which couldn't be the case this time. But it gave us a different response, which means this one was probably correct, and now it's saying this one's wrong. Now, this one we have no answer, and so we need to figure out which one that is. But you know, we can try again, and we go, okay, this is macroeconomics. Increased consumer spending caused national good. Macroeconomics, increased inflation. Macro optimism, general mothers to hire more auto workers. Micro and we're still saying incorrect. So you know, it's a series of trial and error. You go through and you're going to try to figure these out. So problems with drag and drops and moving terms to a box, they become a little bit scary for a lot of you because it's an all or nothing proposition. See, I took the 0 on that, at least for now. And this is a similar sort of problem, right? I'm just throwing things up here where it's not going to say which one's wrong. It's going to give you 0, even though some of these might be correct. Because of this, what happens when I do the grading is, as a generality, I give 80s and above a A, 60s to 80s are Bs, 40 to 60s are Cs, and anything below a 40 on your homework grades ends up being an F. And so I adjust your grades for the fact that I realize, you know, some of the problems you might have had partially correct, and I don't have time to go through and see which ones are partially correct. And I wish it would actually let us do that. So if we go back to our class, so we've got study materials, problem sets, and reader assignments. This class is composed of 3 activities: problem sets, reader assignments, and exams. And so you've got these 2, and all of those are topical. At the end of this one, we'll end up having the first exam. It'll release on Monday, and it's going to show up right up here at the top of the page. So as you scroll down, you can see that all of the courses, the course topic areas are set up the same. You still have the date, the topic, the reading assignments, some information, when the reader assignments are due, study materials, and you can see next section's a huge section. We have lots of study materials. We're probably going to end up extending out this due date till the end of that week or middle of that week, because this is a big topic to cover in a week and a half, even an accelerated course. We have a bunch of problem sets related to this area, and then we have 2 more reader assignments due. So as you can see, the general course works the same. As you get more comfy with the course and you know that you're coming to class to just do homework, you can click on activities and due dates, and it gives you all the home problem sets. You could go back and you can click on forums, and it gives you the way to get to office hour forum, and it gives you all of the reader assignments. You can click back, go to resources, and it gives you any handouts, any video links, anything else. And then grades are self-explanatory. Profile and courses are what they are. I do want to point out one thing is I put up this link in the study materials to Measuring the Economy tutorial. I'll put up these from time to time. This is material that I didn't write. This is something I purchased. Some people might call this an online textbook. The reason I do this is, you know, I realized very quickly you guys need a lot of help. Economics isn't an easy class when you take it in person. It's an even more difficult class sometimes when you're taking it online. And so this really walks you through, but I want to caution, these are in beta mode. Over the years, and it's going to take me years, I'll be rewriting all of the content in this material to match what I think and what I say and what's happening. All this material I purchased came from Europe. It came from England. And so some of the language is it'll read a little weird to some of you because if you're not familiar with British culture. But this is really the best content I could find, and it didn't come cheap. It actually cost me quite a bit of money. But I really am committed to making sure that you guys understand what's happening. And so what you'll see is you go through and it looks like a book in some ways because you've got all these things, but then it'll start asking you questions. And by the end, you go down here and you say, okay, level of overall economic activity, here's questions. And it gives you self-test questions, and you can check whether you're right or wrong. It'll give you short questions. It'll give you data responses, and I really like these. This one gives you a newspaper article, then asks you some questions. Then it'll give you another type of data response where it says, what are these items, right? And then long questions. And so there's all sorts of different questions going on, and we'll use this website at various times throughout the semester. So one final note on the exams. The exams are a little different. The way the exams work, they're one long question that helps with some technical difficulties, but what that means is you need to make sure you're actually finished with the exam before you hit next. You can't check your answers. You're not going to see an answer. There's no answer keys for exams even available online. And the exams are mostly fill in the blank problem solving. And so some of them will ask you to drag it to create a graph. What I want to caution is all of the exams are hand graded. So the computer will give you a score. That's your minimum score. And then I go back through at some point in the semester. And I'm going to be honest, normally it's the last week of the semester because you wouldn't believe how many students have excuses for why they don't take an exam, why they don't finish the course. And so what we do is I go through at the very end of the semester when everyone's completely done taking an exam, and I hand grade the exams. Because some of the questions the computer might not capture, you might have put down an answer that's correct, but you misspelled it, or you didn't quite follow directions, but you had the correct answer. So some of the questions say, you know, put this list in alphabetical order, and you say instead of ABC, you put ACB. Well, your answer in economic land is right, but you didn't answer the correct question for the exam. The exam question said, put this list of things in alphabetical order, and you didn't do that part. So the computer will grade it wrong, but I'll go back through and give you credit for those points. So all of the exams get hand graded at the end of the day. So the way to treat your grades on Sapling Learning are that the Sapling Learning grade is the minimum score that you'll receive in the course, not your actual score. And you'll tend to see that reader assignments and problem sets and exam grades will rise higher at the end of the semester when I go through and hand grade everything and regrade what Kelvin graded in the reader assignments. So that's everything you need to know about the site. Of course, the site has my name, my personal information. That's my cell phone number. That's my email. That's how you can contact me. You can always come to campus and see me in Holt 244 where I am right now and have a chit chat with me. So anyway, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to go back to my little module so I can see that I'm talking to you guys. So hopefully you guys feel a little bit better about the course and you know what's going to happen. I'm just going to tell you up front, we've got 7 more weeks starting on Monday in the semester. It's going to be an intense 7 weeks. Doing the class in 9 weeks means you're doing it in double the speed of a normal semester here at Delta. It's not unmanageable, but it's going to be a lot of work. So just try to keep up, do your best, try to make sure you get the pacing right and get your studying right and things like that. And as always, let me know if you have any problems or concerns, anything I can help you with, because I want to make sure that you guys are successful in the course and actually learn something and get some use out of it at the same time. Sorry, I like check my email before I sign out because I want to make sure no one's asking me an email question while we're on the video. So what do you guys do for next week's office hours to make it successful? Ask questions in the office hour forum. If you have any questions you need answered, you're unclear about how to do certain things, how to calculate GDP, how to calculate unemployment rates, we can go over those things in the video. But ask those questions. If you want a little short tutorial or lecture on how to do something, you can ask that in the office hour link as well. If no one asks questions in the office hour link, as a generality, I'm not going to host a video session because I don't want to waste my time or your time with dead air. So hopefully you guys have a good semester, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.